I'm going to share my experience with you and how you can make pre-construction work for you and how you can earn some pretty decent commission doing it. So why pre-construction? What are the risks? Is it a good idea to invest in or sell pre-construction? And what are the benefits for both the buyer and for agent? For the buyer, good thing is, I mean, it's a spread out deposit structure. It can be where you have a big chunk is delivered in the beginning, and the rest is going to be on closing, and that can be as much as anywhere from 4 to as long as 10 years. So depending on the product, there is an opportunity to enjoy appreciation, future value, the growth in value of real estate. And if a buyer closes on the property and rents it out, they might have positive cash flow or might not. It's a risk that one has to take, and you have to make that clear to your clients. For agents, it's all about commission, 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 and there's a lot less paperwork involved in this because you don't have to do the offer itself. You don't even have to do FinTrack, but it's a good idea to have a buyer representation agreement in place. So please take the time to understand the process and make sure that you are protecting your clients' interests, because that's what we do. The keys to be successful in pre-construction is to understand your clients' needs and educating them about the process. You have to explain them, you have to find out why they want pre-construction. Is it end use, or are they going to buy it as an investment? What type of property are they looking for? Is it a house or a townhouse or a condo? Because this will determine what you're looking for. What kind of, what size of property? How many bedrooms? What's the budget? And you have to understand the financing issues that come with pre-construction. It's not your standard mortgage where you walk into a bank or go to a mortgage broker, get pre-approval, and you just move on, if everything's in place. And there are obviously tax implications because a lot of people are buying pre-construction for an opportunity to earn a profit at the end of the day, whether it's be a rental property or flip the property as an assignment. There's a lot of things come into play, and over the past 2 years, CRA has really started to crack down on people flipping condos and trying to avoid paying HST in a lot of times. And we'll talk about assignments, how not easy it is to do. And going back to the future value, why do people want pre-construction? Because if you look at history of Toronto real estate, it's been a continuous growth. There are dips and valleys, but overall, if you look at the history, and this chart only goes back to 2012, but if you go back in 40 years, it's always up, up, and up. And this actually makes Toronto quite unique because we have a lot of immigration and a lot of attraction in the city, and people are buying and properties and enjoying the appreciation of the properties over a period of time. But can you be certain that the property is going to go up in value? If we go back to 1989 to 1992, there was a big drop in prices. Yes, they came back. So always an investor needs to keep in mind that there are pros and cons and there are risks involved. And if the price does drop, you may have to sit on it until it comes back. And it will come back, but it comes down also to having the ability to carry the property. You have to think about what impact interest rates are going to have on future value, what new taxes the government is going to come up with. They're talking about, we're all afraid, the government might bring in taxes on even on equity in your primary residence. It can do all kinds of things, and that will impact real estate values over time, long term. But eventually, the price will probably go up because we are dealing with inflation and ever growing demand for real estate. Are all projects the same? Definitely not. It all depends on location, the type of property, who the builder is, quality of the building, reputation of a building. It's interesting that buildings do have reputation, and if the word out there that building has problems, guess what? You're going to have a hard time selling it, renting it, and you can have all kinds of issues. So it's always the need to keep your mind open and do your research and educate your client in as far as potential appreciation. Even the developers, depending on who the developer is and what they have done. Like we've had developers up in Highway and Jane Highway 7 or 407, where they canceled the project, give all the deposits back, and people got screwed out of potential appreciation in their property. And then you have to find out what it is that your client is looking for, and maybe guide them. If they're buying for investment, maybe it's not a good idea to invest in a 3-bedroom. Maybe it's better to invest in a 1-bedroom or a 1+1 or a studio. You have to take all these things into consideration and what demand is, and will be determined by location of the building, geographically in the city, and what's around in the area as well. Is pre-construction a good investment? This is just numbers, take average numbers. So if you take, and this goes back to carrying costs after you close on a unit, sale price of almost 645,000. You're going to collect about $2,000 a month rent. That would be like a 1-bedroom condo type of thing. And then you have expenses. Your mortgage is $2,000. You have your maintenance fees, property taxes, insurance is not even in here. And look at this, all of a sudden you have to be supporting this investment. And if you're an investor, how long can you carry this for? And does it justify buying pre-construction for somebody who is on a limited budget? Because
what down payment did you have on that unit with these figures?
Excuse me, Pam?
What sort of down payment did you put in when you calculated these figures?
We're talking about 20%.
That's average.
Yeah, we're talking about average because on pre-construction, you need 20% down, right? Sometimes there are exceptions to the rule, and I'll get to that, but typically it is 20% that you're buying with, and this is and you're going to have carrying costs as far as pre-construction. But again, it varies from property to property and what your end goal is in buying pre-construction. And this is from CMHC. Again, this is another chart that you'll see. It shows that carrying costs versus average rent for a condo in Toronto, and with a 20% down. And it shows, again, basically people need to subsidize. 10 years ago, 5 years ago, when I was selling a lot of pre-construction, the price structure was a little different, and you would basically be breaking even. And that's what my clients were basing their assumptions on, and they were buying pre-construction just so they can break even once the property is rented and enjoy the appreciation. Somebody else is paying down your mortgage, and that's where you gain the benefit. If somebody's on an unlimited budget and they're buying something now, they may have to subsidize the property on a monthly basis or come up with more money for a down payment. And this way, the carrying costs are more manageable. So the process,
while they're subsidizing it, the price is going up. So you're getting more value.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying is there is the appreciation plus somebody else is paying down your mortgage. They're paying your your principal, so you get the benefit of having the property rented out. And that's what most investors are looking at right now, is the future value. Now, the process is, again, it comes down to educating your clients. You want to select the location, select the right developer, select the unit type. And once you've found what you're looking for, you put in a worksheet. Hopefully you get the unit you're looking for. You'll have a 10-day cooling off period where you're gonna have your clients think about it some more, discuss it with them a little bit more of what their purchase is, and have the lawyer review the documents. And then and we'll talk about other things such as capping closing costs, assignments. And then I typically work with my clients right throughout the process. I just don't leave them. So I get involved in selecting upgrades, if any. And then there's interim closing, final closing, and assignments. So this is your typical sample a worksheet that you will get if once you found the property. Yeah, and this is from the builder. The builder provides you with this. They'll ask for up to 3 units that are of interest to you, what the price of the unit is. You'll fill that in, or they fill that in, and cost of parking if it's available to you, and locker, yes or no, and whatever the price is for that. And they will want the IDs of your clients, social insurance number, driver's license, passport, whatever is available. And you'll need to also include your name and brokerage information. They typically will staple your business card to the worksheet. This way, they know who's going to be receiving the commission, and you rest assured that you're going to get paid. Now, 10-day cooling off period. So once you've handed in a worksheet and a unit has been allocated to your client, with a $5,000 deposit, you will have the builder will provide you with a package. The package will be your agreement of purchase and sale, and the declaration of the condominium corporation that will be incorporated in the future. And your lawyer needs to review that. The 10 days is provided by the builder. It's the law. And use that time wisely. Again, you want to review the project. You want to understand which way, which way is the unit facing? What are, is it the right floor? Is it looking in the right direction? Is the view going to be blocked in the future? You want to understand where the unit is actually located on the floor. Maybe it's next to a garbage chute or an elevator, and people might not want it. You have to look at these small details. Most people who are not realtors don't look at these things. It's more of an emotional purchase. So it's your job to guide them properly, because at the end of the day, if this is an investment, who are they going to look to lease out the property in the future, or to assign it, or work with it? You. And then maybe in the future, you're going to be the one selling it. This is what I've always done. I've stayed in touch with my clients and managed the whole process. And we've bought and sold properties many times over, and at least them in the interim as well. It's a good way to generate income. You'll also need to obtain, your clients, not you, but your clients will need to obtain mortgage pre-approval. Now keep in mind, mortgage pre-approvals are not the same as they are if you're buying a house today. Here's just a sample floor plan. This is actually a unit that I sold to my client. And the reason I sold it is because my client was buying it for his son, who was a teenager at the time. And price-wise, it worked out that a 2-bedroom is basically the same thing as a 1-bedroom. This was a pre-construction unit, but the building was already up. It was like a model suite that was left over, and we picked it up. But if you look at this floor plan, what issues do you see? Anybody?
A column in the middle of in the corner of the room.
That's one problem. What else?
The internet is too long.
Sorry?
L-shaped
Yeah,
design.
oh, yeah.
Yeah. So if you look at it this, okay, first of all, let's look at living room, dining room. You have one wall, okay? And how do you set up furniture? The kitchen it's a 2-bedroom, but look at the kitchen. Is there any counter space? Next to nothing, okay? There's no kitchen island either. And if you put one in, then it's in the way, you can't get through the place. Then look at the bathroom. You have a bathroom that's accessible from the master bedroom and from the hallway, tub in the middle. All right, and the tub is accessible from either side, so you have glass sliding doors on either side. Okay, not 100% privacy, if you ask my opinion. And I've seen a lot. Now, mind you, this is not the smallest unit, but I've seen places where you have a living room, dining room that are smallish with a small kitchen, and then you have glass on 2 sides, kitchen on one side, and you have a door on the single wall that you have. Where do you put furniture? How do you set it up? Where do you put a TV on? And somebody's got their microphone on. So there are challenges with something like this. Mind you, everything sells and everything rents, but you want a product that's easier to move and make your own life easier in the future than just the simplest sell. So if you have options, pick an option that's actually good for your client. Mortgage pre-approval, like I said, getting mortgage is different for pre-construction. You may not be able to, the builder may refuse to look at a pre-approval letter from a mortgage broker. They want it from a financial institution. Banks might or might not hold rates, and pre-approval may have conditions. And if the bank does hold rates, it may be for a limited period of time. Now, we at Century 21 Heritage, we have, through PAM, we have a great relationship with RBC, and they do provide pre-approvals and they hold rate till closing. At least that's what it is at this point in time. We shall see as time goes on. But so
And they'll
make
also
sure.
do foreign investors.
Sorry?
I said they'll also do foreign investors for us, the Royal Bank.
Right. So there are benefits. So if you have a foreign investor or you have somebody who is interested in buying pre-construction, we can definitely help you out. Pam will hook you up with the right person at RBC, and will help make your process of purchasing pre-construction a lot simpler. Just keep in mind, just because you have pre-approval doesn't mean you have a mortgage on the day of closing, which could be years from now.
The good thing with the Royal Bank is they guarantee it until closing. So you know it's going to close. They don't qualify your purchaser on closing 4 years from now, and they'll cap the rate. So they're the best one to use for pre-construction.
Now, deposit structure, a lot of your clients, if they've never bought pre-construction, they'll have questions. And this is a typical breakdown where, a builder will want 20% deposit. And as an example here, $750,000 purchase, 20% deposit is $150,000. You pay $5,000 in signing, 5% less than $5,000 within 30 days, and you have to provide post-dated checks to the developer. Then another 5% could be 90 days, could be 120 days, whatever their spread is, whatever they decide on. And 5%, and for example, 270 days, could be 365, could be anything. And then another 5% on closing. Now, keep in mind, a lot of times you'll see builders offering lesser amount. And by the way, this pertains to condos, okay? With houses, it's a little different. But with condos, if they have, let's say the building is nearing completion, they have sold, 90-95% of the units, whatever the balance they have left, they can say, look, 5% down is enough, 10% down is enough. Why? Because they already have their construction financing in place. The project is nearing completion. They just need to move the last of the inventory that they couldn't sell before. So they're dumping it at lower deposit structures and maybe other incentives. Now, getting a real estate lawyer is critical, and having a good experienced real estate lawyer is very, very important. They need to review the agreement of purchase and sale, all the terms and conditions, and the declaration. And why are these important? I'll give you a good example. I sold in one project a whole bunch of units, and it had clients. I asked everybody, do you have a lawyer? And so some said yes, and I had somebody who said no. Some of them came back with, in a couple of days, they came back, said, yeah, the lawyer said it's fine, everything's fine. Said, all right, fine. So we proceeded. Another couple of people came back and said, oh, our lawyer requested changes. And these amendments were listed, and there was like 3 or 4 items, whatever it could be. The builder accepted those, and the deal proceeded. And so those lawyers managed to help their clients save on closing, maybe a couple of grand, a few $100, a couple of grand, whatever it may be. Now, the person I sent to the lawyer I use came back with a list that was on 2 pages of requested amendments. I took it to the developer signed off on it. I saved my client probably 20 grand. Okay, so not me, but the lawyer did. And that this is critical, to have a good experienced lawyer who knows how to review pre-construction contracts and what to look for. Furthermore, it's good to have a lawyer review the declaration, because if your client is intending to use a unit that they've purchased for, let's say, short-term rentals, or something like that, and then or have a pet, a lot of corporations will have limitations. There could be restriction on pets. There could be restriction on size of pets. There could be a prohibition of short-term rentals. I had a client in the condo where I've never seen this before. It was, I believe, a Tridel building. And so if you're renting out an unfurnished condo, minimum term is 30 days. If you're renting out a furnished condo, the minimum term is 12 months. Guess what? You can't do short term. You can't do Airbnb and try and generate some sort of positive cash flow from the property just because it's in the declaration. And for once a condo corporation is formed, trying to change the declaration is next to impossible. Capping development charges, and this is one of the things that you want the lawyer to review and cap. And what capping means is, because today when a developer is selling you a pre-construction condo, there are development charges, there are education levies, contribution to parks and trees and art and all kinds of stuff. The city has a tendency of changing these numbers as time goes on, because they like their pet projects and they need money for that. So it gets passed on to developers, who pass it on to the purchasers of pre-construction properties. And it's critical because to cap these things, because a buyer can get a really nasty surprise at the time of closing. I actually knew somebody who bought pre-construction condo that had no cap. Their closing costs, never mind land transfer tax and everything else, were in excess of $35,000. This was on a 1-bedroom condo, and I'm going back probably 10 years ago. So it's a nasty surprise, because otherwise, if it was capped, it would have been at maybe $6,000, $7,000. Makes a huge difference. Here is a sample on a statement of adjustment on time of closing. This is actually from my own deal, and where the lawyer had capped a lot of things and deleted a lot of things from the agreement of purchase and sale, and that's why you see a lot of zeros. But if you look at this here, this is from statement of adjustment on closing. The actual statement is probably about, I think it was about 6 or 7 pages, and every number is broken down. I just took out the summary to show you a sample here, and look at the education charges, water and hydro hookup. There's a Terry on warranty, enrollment fee. I don't know what discharge fee is. I don't know what a check recovery fee is, but builders will stick all kinds of stuff into the agreement of purchase and sale. On this particular case, there was a cashback component to the purchase, $4,500, and the cap was $16,000. So instead of paying $30-something odd thousand, they paid $12,000. Huge savings, and that's when your client really starts to appreciate the service you provide. Actually, in this particular situation, this was a 2-bedroom and a den condo with just over $1 million. I used the same because the lawyers was the same as for a 1-bedroom. I used the same request for changes to the agreement purchase and sale, gave it to the builder. They signed off on it. So basically, the numbers worked out as to on a 1-bedroom condo. I was just lucky that way. Upgrades will come usually when the unit is being complete, and the builder will reach out to the buyer, not to you. I've had situations where actually I was the contact point for the client, and it went through me. But again, staying in touch with your clients and keeping them being in a loop on the whole process keeps you involved and keeps you engaged with your client for many years to come. I typically go with my clients to a showroom and start picking out upgrades, if any. And I always ask my clients, like, what is your end purpose of acquiring this property? And if it's a rental property, then do you need the upgrades? Maybe yes, maybe not. Depends what they are. If it's a kitchen island, that's a good upgrade. But if the builder wants 10 grand for it, well, you can have it made somewhere else, custom made for $4,500. They can offer you roller blinds. Again, you can get them outside cheaper, but sometimes it's easier if the builder just does it and it's there. It's quicker, it simplifies the process, and so on. But keep in mind, on upgrades, you don't get commission. Okay, you get only on the sale of the property. Upgrades is a bonus for the builder. I'll play a little video about tearing the warranty, because all new construction comes with tearing the warranty, and instead of me explaining it to you, it's better if Tyrion explains it to you for me.
To your recently completed house.
I can't hear that, Ed.
Sorry? You
I
can't hear
said,
it?
I don't hear that.
Really, does everybody else hear it or no?
No.
No, there's
Oh,
no sound.
Interesting.
No.
Is there
The
sound
share-
or is it just what's on screen?
Okay.
I feel like explaining things just on screen.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
You have it muted.
Yeah, no, I just muted it now because nobody was hearing it. Okay, but then 2 words, basically. Terran has, when you acquire a new property, it comes with warranty. And you have a 30-day form, you have a 1-year form, and you have to fill these out, and you have to get them in on time, or they won't fix anything. So it's critical. But Terran also covers, there are ways if the project was delayed outside of what's allowable, you can claim money, you can get up to $7,500 back from the builder under Terran warranty. And they do have an app online, so your client needs to sign up and then go through the process, submit the forms, and stay on top of the builder to fix things. But trust me, if you don't, nothing will get fixed. Okay, I guess I'll try and figure out how to get the sound out on this video in the future, but it should be I'll provide the link to it as well. So, all right, assignments. A lot of people have questions about assignments. It's a complex subject, and things you have to be aware of are builders a lot of times will charge a fee for an assignment, or just to actually review an assignment and give approval. Even if they say no, they might charge you a fee. A lot of times as an incentive at the very beginning when they're launching a project, they'll provide you with an amendment that says the assignments are free. That doesn't mean, all that means is there won't be a fee or a reduced fee, but it doesn't mean that you can assign it. So just because it says, oh, you know, there's an assignment, it's free, don't assume that you'll be able to assign the condo. Typically, you cannot assign or sell an assignment until the billing is 90–95% complete, when the builder has sold most of their inventory, or the building is almost complete. Or so I've had builders when they actually give you a window. It's a month or 2 months where you can sell assignments, and then you're done. I've seen another builder, you can only sell assignments through their brokerage. And my client wanted to sell, I had to go give to that brokerage the deal and get a referral fee. So what the goalposts around what's allowable and not allowable when the builder is going to be agreeable to an assignment, it's difficult. The goalposts keep moving, and they'll come up with different rules and different requirements for that. Also keep in mind, just because they say you can go ahead and sell an assignment does not mean that you can advertise. Most assignments cannot go on the MLS. The trick is to advertise it somehow through other websites and so on. But keep in mind, when they say you cannot advertise, they mean that you cannot advertise, period. And the danger is, and it's actually stipulated in most agreements of purchase and sale, if you do advertise, they have the right to cancel the deal and keep the deposit. So be very, very careful what you're doing with an assignment. So assignments have to be approved by a builder, and you have to explain to your client that there are implications as far as taxes. Builders will charge assignee HST almost automatically most of the time. And in as far as people assume that if they sell an assignment, they're going to have to pay capital gains tax. It's not. It's actually income tax. Basically, any profit that's achieved from this, from a sale of an assignment, is added to your personal income, and then you pay the taxes. So you can easily be paying 50%. All right. So again, seek advice as far as taxes are concerned. And if you do sell an assignment, make sure you're familiar with the form, and there's a Schedule B that requires math, which is not easy to do or easy to understand. So please feel free to come and seek my advice or somebody who's done this before. I even know lawyers who do this every day, and they still have trouble with the math. So be very wary of it. You don't want to screw over your client, okay?
Also, most builders will charge a fee to assign, at least a legal fee, but sometimes they'll charge you $5,000 to do an assignment plus 2,000 for legal fees or that sort of thing. So you have to look in the agreement to what the agreement is.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mentioned, that there are fees for that, right?
Sorry.
Yes.
Can you actually explain the HST portion again? They actually automatically charge you HST if you assign it?
Yeah, because the assumption is when you're buying a pre-construction unit, they're going to be able to enjoy the benefit of HST credit. When you're assigning it, you're not the same buyer as in the beginning. So assignee may get hit with HST.
I see. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Again, it depends on how the assignment is worded, who's going to be responsible for it. Seek legal advice, okay? Legal advice and accounting advice, all righty? There's more information on the CRO website that I've listed here, but you can Google it as well. And so there are tax implications on assignments. There are also HST implications if you're not the end user. Now, when you purchase a property, the lawyer will ask you to swear that you're going to be the owner, occupier, or occupying the unit yourself. If you say yes and then you're not, you're still advertising for rent and so on, CRA will find you because they do keep track of the MLS, and they'll come asking for HST. I guarantee you that. It might not be right away, it might be in a year or two, but they will come and ask for the HST. So sometimes it is, you might as well just pay the HST if that's an investment property, and then claim your GST rebate as a rental property, and you can get up to $24,000 back. Again, this is accounting advice, and it's not something we should be providing to our clients, okay? This is your general knowledge, and you'll learn more through experience and doing your own research. There might be some exemptions. I know clients who have been denied the GST rebate, and others who have enjoyed. I had a client who figured he's not going to list the property after he closes. He's just going to keep it vacant for a while so that it doesn't show up on CRA's radar. I disagree with it, but that's what he insisted on doing. So we kept it off the market, I believe, for 4 to 6 months, then listed it for lease, rented it out. The tenant lived there, I believe, for about a year or two, then left, and my client asked me to sell the condo, sold it, and then afterwards he gets a letter from CRA that he owes them HST. Instead of just filling out the rebate application, he went to a tax lawyer who did that for him at a cost of $3,500, and basically he got the GST back, and nothing was owed to the government, but he spent money on a lawyer. So just follow the process and follow the rules, and it's not as complicated as it might seem.
Sorry, can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Yeah, is it better to, like, if it is assignment, is it better to keep it and then you can save on the taxes and the GST portion?
Again, whether you pay HST or not depends who occupies the unit, what you do with it after closing. Okay,
Oh,
even if an assignee pays HST, they can, and then they occupy themselves, they can ask for the rebate.
okay. How about if they rent it out? Can they ask for?
They can ask for the GST rebate.
Got it. Okay.
You guys know the difference between HST and GST?
No.
No, okay. So it used to be, there was a GST, which was a federal tax, goods and services tax, and there was a PST, provincial sales tax. And then I guess 20 odd years ago, they decided to combine the two and became HST, harmonized sales tax. But it always consists of two portions, provincial and federal. So GST is the federal, PST is the provincial. So you can claim a GST portion if it's a rental property or owner occupied. Okay. And there could be some provincial rebates as well. In as far as so there's the HST implications on buying, and sometimes to answer your question, yes, I always suggest to my clients to close on the property and then sell it. When you own it and you sell it, you're paying a capital gains tax. If you sell an assignment, it's income tax. Two different things, two different rates of taxation. Sometimes it's better to close. Now, if you're looking to buy, to find a project for your clients, there's a few different ways of doing it. One is our brokerage's Remarketer. We have in Brokerage Hub, we have pre-construction link, and it takes you to our Google Drive. In the projects folder, we have projects, and we maintain this list. And every time there's a new project that myself or Pam or anybody else that is interested in promoting a project, we can put it here for other agents to partake and promote to their clients. And the beauty of this is that from here and using Remarketer, you're able to mail out projects, a specific, marketing material, floor plans, prices directly from here to your clients as an email campaign. You can put it on your website. There's a lot of options you can do to promote projects to your client base and to your contact list that you have put in the Remarketer. Hopefully, automates the process and makes it so much easier than trying to put an email together and put attachments together and everything else. It just makes the process a lot smoother and easier for you to sell pre-construction. The other product is Condomall. The Condomall website is owned by us, Century 21 Heritage, and this one is populated by a third party, and it has the ability for you to search geographically, by year, by location, by type of product, by developer. It has a lot of options. So please do use this website if you're looking for a specific project. And there's other websites such as Urbanation and there's sites that collect information on different projects, such as BuzzBuzz and whatever. But keep in mind, you don't want to fall into a trap of it's another real estate agent who's just promoting some projects and acting as a developer, or pretending to be a developer and just trying to capture leads off the internet. The other source for projects is RealNet, and this is accessible through TREB, and you can search for properties by municipality, by product type, pre-construction. It could be homes, townhomes, detached, condos, and so on. And you can search by builder name. They used to be a lot better in maintaining this. From what I've seen recently, it's not as good as it used to be, but it's another source. And the other options are, you can go to builder websites, and sometimes you go, okay, who's the builder on a particular project? And even if you just Google the project itself, you'll have you probably will first find websites that belong to real estate agents who try to capture leads. If you even look on that website, on their website, you will find that you'll find who the developer is. Then Google the developer, and developers always have their communities or projects listed, and then you can go directly then to the builder and approach them. Register. They always have the option of registering on their websites for a specific project or for all kinds of projects. Register, and you will receive emails automatically and you will know what's going on. They want to sell their product and they will send the stuff out to you. Now, you may want to say, well, wait a minute, but I want to be on the platinum list or I want to be on the VIP list. That's great, but that takes time and effort, and they put on the list of platinum agents or VIP agents those who have proven themselves to sell their projects, more than one unit, and you do it regularly, you move up on the list. Now I've had times where I wanted to access to a specific project, and I believed it would be good for my clients, even though my clients didn't know about it, but I knew it's going to be good for them. And I hounded them. I called them every other day, and they were going, no, but you're not on the list. You never dealt with us before. We can't put you on the list. I didn't give up. I hounded them for weeks, if not months, till they finally just said, fine, just stop calling us. You're on the list. And guess what? I went in and I sold 6 units in that project. So, persistency sometimes pays off. Other ways, some builders will promote projects through marketing companies. And these marketing companies could be just a marketing company, or they could be registered as a brokerage as well. But their specialty is pre-construction. Marketing developers product, builders product, and this is just some of them. We got Rare, which is just actually was created recently, but September or so. Some of the guys that left PSR brokerage but used to work for Freed. Then we have Baker, who's been around for 1.5 million years. We got Market Vision, PSR, International. There's a bunch of different companies, and these are some of the main ones. And the other option is there are agents who buy or secure units with a builder by putting down their own money, and then they flip them to other agents. Okay, or they get an allocation because they've sold so many units, the builder will give them a certain allocation and they have limited time to move them. They'll do that. Again, you'll do it on a share commission basis, and sometimes they'll take 2%, sometimes they'll take 1%, but basically it gets you into the project, and yes, you make a little bit less commission, but you're providing a service and a product to your client, which makes them happy. And don't forget, if you stay in touch with your client, you'll then be renting out the unit or selling it for them and so on. So it's not just one-time deal. It's an ongoing way to generate revenue for yourself and provide a good service to your clients. I'm basically it. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer any of your questions.
One thing I'd like to add is that the market is so hot right now that the builders aren't giving many allocations to agents. They're just selling them direct to the brokers, and they aren't giving allocations.
Well, in all the years I've been doing this, I've never really seen allocation per se. Builders don't like to do that. They'll sell to whoever comes first. But they will give, like if you have 2 people at their door at the same time, they'll give preference to the one who's sold their product in other projects. So there is that loyalty sometimes, but allocations basically have never existed.
A few years ago, a builder would give me, say, 10 units to sell, and he'd allocate them to me. We got one last year as well, but it's very, very, very rare nowadays.
Very rare, yes,
So
absolutely.
people that are claiming they have them are usually just trying to get your client and get their percentage, where you'd have just as much chance to get it directly from the builder. So you have to be careful.
Yeah.
Hi, Ed, how's it going?
Good, thank you.
I wanted to ask you a question. Going back to the HST that has to be paid for assignment, and I have a client who's actually willing to, let go of his pre-construction detached in Richmond Hill. Now, the amount of money he's going to make on this is over $300,000 over his 10% down payment, basically. Now, is that income tax?
That is income tax. So if he makes, if he sells this as an assignment before closing,
Right.
and he sells, he makes $300,000, he's going to pay over $150,000 to the government.
Wow. Now, and it doesn't matter if, because they're looking for signing this and buying a house right now in this market where they really like a house and they've already seen it. And it doesn't matter if it goes directly to the down payment for this house, does it?
No, it doesn't. It's still income.
Okay, I see. So that's a no-no for them for sure, right? He's
Well,
not
it
gonna
is what
lose
it is. I mean,
$150,000.
so the alternative is you close, right?
Mhm.
And then you sell it, and then you're paying capital gains tax, which
Yeah,
is
that's a
a
lot
lot less.
How
right?
much is that?
It's
If I
around
don't-
25. People typically say 25%. Again, I'm not an
Mhm.
accountant, and I'm not going to provide accounting advice, and I don't recommend you do the same. They need to seek an advice from like a chartered accountant or a CGA, like somebody whose specialty is this,
Right.
taxes.
And apparently they
It-
asked their own accountant. I'm sorry. Pam?
I was going to say they might also have used up their capital gains exemption.
No, this
So
is
they have to
their
talk to
first
an
time.
accountant. You're not an accountant.
Yeah. Yeah.
You send them to an accountant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
But if you want to just give the idea to our client, let's say like if they're asking us, they bought a property for, let's say for example, 700, and then they sold it for $1 million. So they did the profit for $300,000. So on that, how much the tax, like if we have to give them an idea how much the tax will be deductible from that amount, so how much it will be getting into their pockets.
Is this an assignment or after closing?
Assignment.
Assignment? I think
Yeah.
what is it, around 52% on that kind of volume, on that kind of profit.
So it's gonna be on 300,000, 52%.
Yeah, I believe that's
Got
what the rate is these days, but I could be wrong. Again, I'm not
You
an accountant.
really should
Right,
always
right.
just send them to an accountant because you're not an accountant. If you
Yeah.
quote them a number and you're wrong, they'll sue you.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm just providing information what I have heard. I'm not an accountant. I'm not providing this as accounting advice or legal
Right.
advice or anything like that.
Because I usually get a lot of questions. Oh, like how much you think like I will be having and how much tax will be. Like I told them I don't know, but roughly I can give you kind of like I can give you ideas. Usually 50%, more than 50%, you have to pay the taxes on the gain that you have for the house. But then at the end you have to go to the accountant. Okay.
Yeah, but keep in mind, on the other hand, if they let's say they made $300,000 and they pay 150,000 of it in taxes,
Right.
so they've netted a profit of $150,000. But how much money did they actually put down? Maybe 150, maybe $200,000. So maybe they made 100 after taxes. They made 100% profit. It ain't so bad.
Over a
Uh,
4-year period, double your money. I'd do it any day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can I
Okay,
ask Pam?
people get freaked out by the percentages and they think they have to give half of their money. But don't forget, you've made money.
And a
But now
quick
their
question.
idea is set of making this much. It's kind of hard to go back.
Well, true, and people, and sometimes I've had people say, "Oh, look, you made you bought a property for $1 million, then you sold it for $1.2 million. You made just 200,000. It's 20% over whatever year." Well, no, you don't buy anything for $1 million. You bought something that's priced $1 million, but how much money did you actually put down, right? You only put down
True.
20%, so you put down $200,000. You earned $200,000. The 100% return, even if it took 4 years, that's 25% per year. Not so bad. And even if you take away the taxes, you're still making 12.5%. That's better than any bank in Canada.
Way.
So
Okay,
quick
the danger is
question,
when
Ed.
greed gets in the way.
Hi, Ed. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can I ask a quick question about capital gains? Do you include land transfer when you calculate it? Like, do you eliminate land transfer that you've paid? Because as I hear you, you're saying that it's better to close and then sell the property. Even
Of
if
course,
it's-
look, with capital gains, you're writing off expenses, right?
Yeah. So
Because
land transfer
you have ownership, right?
right.
So you're gonna write off maintenance fees, you're gonna write off commission, you're gonna write off all kinds of things, right? Insurance, whatever it may be. So you're reducing your actual exposure and writing off your expenses. So yeah, everything comes into play. If it's an assignment, you can't write off anything. It's
Right.
income tax.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, can I ask Pam a question?
Go for it.
Hi, Pam, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. I work at the Hamilton office and I get your emails all the time for the pre-construction projects. I just had a question because I've been working with a few clients and I've been working with one since October. And I keep sending them projects, but we've never actually bid on anything. And I don't know what you could suggest in terms of, you know, what I could do to kind of, you know, make this process go a little faster. I know it's hard to even get the units. So when you send them to me, does that mean that we actually have units or it's just kind of something that's available? Like, how would it work if they were actually interested in going ahead?
A lot of builders, what they do is it's first come, first serve. Some builders, there's so many multiple offers that you don't get a chance almost to get them. I know when I talked to Daniels, they had they released 200 units and they had 2,000 worksheets submitted. Now, because we were a platinum broker with them, we ended up getting a few, but the chances of getting units sometimes is very slim. Now, other times I'll be sending out what I call hot sheets. That's what's left over, what hasn't been sold yet. So you've got a much better chance of getting those. So it really depends on the project, but if they're best to put something in right away and to be very flexible with what they're willing to take. So not to put, I just want unit 1A on the 12th floor, the chances of you getting that are very slim. Whereas if you give 2 or 3 choices and multiple floors, you've got a better chance of getting something.
Right,
But
And
it's
if
like the
you-
whole industry right now, there's multiple offers.
Yeah,
Right.
if you look at the worksheet, it actually gives you 3 options. And that's what
Right.
most builders do. You select a few units and hope for the best. It's a bit of a lottery. So again,
But a lot
do-
of
do-
clients don't want to fill in the three different types. You convince them to.
okay.
right, right.
And if-
And you manage the process again.
And if you get if they say, okay, we're going to give you this unit, one of the units that you chose. So at that point, do you have to go ahead or do they still have, like, will it get accepted right away? And then, you know, they have
Usually
the
there's-
10-day.
Yeah.
You have 10
You
days.
always get the 10-day cooling period. Usually what they do is you hand in a worksheet. They look at all the worksheets that they've got. They might take a week or two to decide who's going to get what. So you don't hear back the next day, very, very rarely,
Mhm.
if it's a new project that's being launched. Now, if it's a project that's underway already, and it's not a special release, then you can find out quickly. So prepare your clients. They might have to wait a week or two before they even hear if they got the unit or not.
And how do they
Yes,
choose? Sorry, Ed, how do
Yeah.
they choose like which person gets what?
again, like I was saying, they have preference for agents who have sold in previous projects for them or have multiple units. They'll give some preference, but not necessarily. It is basically a first come, first serve.
Yeah, this time stamped, right? Aren't they?
Yeah, some
A
do.
lot of builders are time stamping. Some of them, a lot of them are so close. They'll look at the brokerage, like Tridel. Anybody from Heritage Group goes up in the rankings to get them, even if they're time stamped, because we've sold so many for Tridel over time. So it's a combination of both, but mostly it's time stamp now. Most builders are just doing the straight time stamp because they have so many worksheets coming in now. And now it might change a couple of years from now if the market cools off.
Great, thank you so much.
Quick question for you guys. So people have 10-day cooling off period. The builders have a cooling off period. Anybody knows?
No.
Builders don't have by law cooling off period, but they like to include in the agreements of purchase and sale 15 days cooling off period for themselves. So they can actually cancel your deal if they want to, without any issues. But having said that, builders can actually cancel a deal pretty much at any point in time. And I've seen this happen numerous times, and people just get their deposits back. It could be even 3 years later, they just get their deposit back, not even interest on it, okay? So with every project, be aware, anything can happen. This is a risk, it's a long-term game, and there are risks involved.
That's an exception, though. That doesn't happen a lot. It does happen. But if you deal with a good builder, you're usually protected with that.
Yeah, but they always have an out.
That's one thing your lawyer should look at when you're signing your documents.
Well, a builder will never cross that out. They'll always leave that open.
No, but they can tell their client about it. The lawyer can.
Yeah, and that's what the lawyer's job is. Tina had a question about how would you resolve the cannot advertise clause if you want to do an assignment sale? That's a difficult part. How do you resolve it? If you have that clause in there, and the builder will never cross that out, you have to deal with it through exclusive listings, whether it be advertising. Maybe some people advertise on Kijiji without disclosing the unit number. Some are taking their chances putting it on MLS, but that's risky. And we have an exclusive hub in the Remarketer that can be listed there, and it goes out to a public website as well. There's a number of options, but trust me, none of them are good as the MLS. That's why I always tell my clients, if they're buying pre-construction, never ever assume that you're going to be able to assign it. Okay, don't plan on that. Plan on closing. And then if we do sign as an assignment, great, but that should not be in your plans.
Agree. And I have a quick question as well. Where do you see the trends going for assignment condos, or forget about assignment, sorry, just condos for investors? I know we used to have a lot of 1-bedrooms being the investor favorites. Are the trends moving to the 2 bedrooms or the 3 bedrooms now that more families are going into condominiums with the prices for homes being out of reach?
I do see a trend towards 2-bedroom. I have observed that. I don't have statistics on it, but it does look like there is that trend. It's towards 2-bedroom. Now, I don't know if that's as much downtown as it is in the suburbs, but there does seem a trend. Now, if we talk about appreciation over a period of time, and just looking over buildings that are like 10 years old, 15 years old, it seems that per square foot basis at resale time, studios are getting higher prices than 1+1s or 2 bedrooms. So it's always a challenge to find what's going to be the best investment. But it looks like the trend is towards 2-bedroom, and it's not necessarily because of families. It's because if you're renting out, especially downtown or somewhere beside a university property, you're going to rent it out. For young people, it is unaffordable to rent a 1-bedroom today because you're paying $2,200 to $2,400, $2,500 a month. It's expensive. So, but you can get a 2-bedroom for maybe 3,000. Then it's you have 2 friends and they're sharing it. I've leased a 3-bedroom unit downtown for years. It's always been, you know, either 3 nurses or 3 students or 3 guys, whatever. But they're always sharing the rent. They're paying $3,600 a month, and they have no issues. It's less expensive than getting a unit on your own.
True.
So that's why the trend seems to be going in that direction. But also don't forget the 2 bedrooms and 3 bedrooms are also becoming very, very small. And the 1 bedrooms are also becoming under 500 square feet. Whereas, you know, 10 years ago, there were 600, low 600 square feet. And before that, 700 square foot unit was a 1 bedroom, right?
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Hello, Ed.
Yes.
Could you please take a look at the chat window? There are lots of questions, unanswered questions there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going through it right now. What is percentage GST? If memory serves correctly, it's 7%. Because PST was 8. Yeah, that's why. Yeah. Yes. Hold on a second. 13%. Is it 7%? I think it's. I believe it's 7%. Yeah, 6 or 7%. After closing would be. After closing would be 25%. I assume, Jessica, after closing would be 25%. I guess you're talking about capital gains tax. That's the range. Again, I'm not an accountant. Is there a cap gain for a client who closes, live in for 3 years? So, capital gain for a client who closes, lives in it for 3 years and sells it? No, it's a primary residence. So there is no tax on the primary residence at this point in time. We'll see what Shuda comes up in the future. But at this point in time, there is no capital gains or income tax on the personal property. Now, the way capital gains works, if you, let's say you close on a property, and it doesn't matter pre-construction, after construction, you close on it, you live in it for 5 years, then you go away and you rent it out for 10 years, and then you come back and you move in it again, you live in it for 5 years, and then you decide to sell it. So 20 years have gone by, you live for 5 years, and then 5 years at the end, you're going to pay capital gains on the increase in appreciation for those 10-year periods. So you have to know what the property was worth at the beginning of the 10 years and at the end of the 10 years. Okay. That's how that typically works, and you need an accountant for that one. Okay. You're paying tax when you lease the pre-construction unit. Again, there's what do you mean? I mean, are you paying tax when you lease the pre-construction unit? If it's leased, you'll pay like profit on it, I guess, if you're making money. If you're not, then you're writing off the expenses. After you sell it, if there's profit, then there's capital gains. Yeah, GST is 5%. Thank you for that correction. RBC pre-approval. Is RBC pre-approved mortgage portable? I don't know, Pam, if you can answer that. Is RBC pre-approved mortgage portable? I don't think you can move pre-approval.
I don't think you can move pre-approval from one building to another because some of the buildings will not be approved per chance. And there's different timing. So no, I don't think it's portable. After you close, would it be portable? Most likely.
Yeah, depends. Again, you have to see your mortgage details. This is the tenant warranty. Does the tenant warranty get transferred to another buyer if the unit is resold within the warranty period? Yes, it does. Yeah, the warranty is with the property, not with the owner. Would you negotiate the terms of assignment within the 10-day cooling off period? You can try. Don't think anything's going to happen with that, but can't hurt to ask. Would you resolve the cannot advertise clause if you want to assign the sale? I think we've discussed that. Do you know if Television City Hamilton is a reputable builder? Well, let's discuss that offline. I'll have to take a look. I don't know who the developer is on that one. I don't know every project in the city. Any other questions, folks?
Hi, Ed. I have a question, please.
Yes.
And my question regarding the page which you showed us for the sample of Levies charges. I want to ask you that do the builder has to mention all these charges with detail in the first agreement for the pre-construction, or it could be added on closing date?
They do list them in various places within the agreement of purchase and sale. Some of them are sort of a general statement like water and hydro hookup. But when you get the statement of adjustment, it's all broken down into their own little components. It's more detailed in the agreement purchase and sale. No, and like I said, in this the development charges. If you see on this actual sample, you have development charges which were $21,352. Then there's an increase of development charges of $6,488. That's the increase from the time that we signed the agreement of purchase and sale to the time it was ready for close. It was an increase of $6,000. We didn't have to worry about it because of the cap, and that's why you want that cap there. So keep that in mind. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I just wanted to mention also on interim occupancy is something to consider for your investors, because during interim occupancy you still don't own the unit, but you're paying rent. You're basically paying builders mortgage, property tax, and so on, maintenance fees. You're paying to the builder. It's rent. Okay, and it can last anywhere from a month to actually 0 days to a year or two. I had a client who bought a condo with 2 towers, and the builder put them under the same corporation. So one building was ready, everybody moved in. The other building was still under construction for over a year, and during that whole time, it was interim occupancy, and my buyer had to pay rent to the builder. And because she doesn't own the property, she can't refinance it, she can't sell it, she can't rent it. Sometimes builders will prevent you from even renting it during interim occupancy. So be aware of whatever builder throws into that agreement of purchase and sale and the declaration. Anyone else?
Yes, I have a question. Hi, Ed.
Hi.
Is your presentation available in our drive for our customers who can present it?
Tina's recording this and will be placed on the drive.
No, I'm asking about the like PowerPoint that we have for buyer representation and seller representations. That or just this seminar?
Sorry, can you repeat that question, please?
Because you're using a PowerPoint to present this presentation. We have buyer presentation and seller representation in our drive, Google Drive, the PowerPoint one.
Yes.
Are you loading this one in the drive for using the agent using for their clients to present the pre-construction?
I can definitely share it. I have no issues with that.
That would be great, because we may have a customer or client to interested for a pre-construction. That would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, not a problem. Anyone else?
Ed, can I ask another question going back to that HST issue with my client?
Sure.
Just to give you a heads up, like I just disconnected and I called them, and he said he spoke to his accountant, and the accountant apparently, and I'm hoping this is okay, accountant apparently said, no, you don't get taxed on that extra money that you make, you know, with this pre-construction, which is, like I said, over $300,000, because they've never owned a house or any property in Canada. Is that,
what does that have to do with anything?
I don't know, like that doesn't make sense to me either, but he says that the accountant said, you guys never had a house. If you sell this and you put it towards a house that you're buying right now for the first time as first-time home buyers, you don't get taxed, income tax, basically.
That is something new and actually makes no sense. What does that have to do with? This is profit on a flip of a paper, okay? So what does that have to do if you own the house or not?
Yeah, and this is the seller, so I'm trying to kind of save him from this whole thing going down. If he's gonna lose at least what I calculated, $160,000 on the income tax, which is, you know, that bracket over 100,000, he's gonna make 350,000. I'm up top of my head, it's gonna be $150,000 that he's got to pay to the government. But it says now he's
I
insisting
wonder if
that
his accountant has experience with pre-construction.
yeah. So should I talk to my own
assignment.
accountant? How do we go about this?
Is
I don't want
the
to lose
account
the customer.
okay? Make sure that you can that they consult a chartered accountant or a CGA or CPA, one of those guys, okay? Not just some bookkeeper, you know, that's working out of his basement, okay? You have to have proper information. Don't forget, CRA, the reason CRA comes after people because CRA audits developers, okay? They audit builders to find out who is assigned and who didn't assign. And as soon as they see an assignment, they want to know, and they know the difference because you have to get builder's approval, right? Because builder sees that, then a builder has this and they have a copy of it. The guy CRA right away knows how much money you made.
Wow.
Try to escape that.
No, I guess not. There we go.
Okay.
I lost the customer.
Well, again, I wouldn't. Your job is to protect the customer, okay, and guide them. If they still insist on doing this, provide the service. It's not your responsibility at the end of the day.
Right.
I think I would just, to Mendy's point, I would just like to add that I think, Mendy, to save yourself, I think write it in the email and just say that please seek professional help. But according to me, this is what you will have to do. But then again, I'm not an expert on that. But then this way you have proof that you did the due diligence and gave your the correct information as per you.
Yeah.
True.
Just have proof that you provided advice, right?
For sure. Something in writing, for sure. Understood.
Mehdi.
Thank you. Yeah.
Mehdi, at the very minimum, what I would suggest is that before you leave this person to rely on their basement bookkeeper, if it's likely that's it, at the very minimum, you should have your client receive that guidance from their accountant in writing, at a very minimum.
Okay, yeah, good idea.
Mehdi, another advice, call CRA. Very simple.
Sure.
Call CRA and they'll answer your question.
Have
and then
them
you know
call
for
CRA?
sure.
Ed?
Sorry?
Have the seller call CRA or?
You have the seller call CRA. You can call CRA yourself for your own knowledge and your own experience and your own education. Call them, find out. CRA will answer your questions.
Oh yeah, for sure. Go to the source. Thank
you.
To
the source.
Thank you.
Do you have a few minutes? Can I ask a quick question?
Shoot.
I actually purchased a condo and I assigned it to my brother without any, of course, money or how can I say, the benefits or anything like that, capital gains or anything like that. So I just assigned it to him at the same price that I purchased. Do you think he's going to be charged HST?
Typically, it's not. What you're doing is a name change. It's not really like. Did you go through an assignment agreement or did you do a name change?
For an assignment. I
For an
actually
assignment.
requested them a name change, but they made me to sign an assignment paper.
Again, it depends what you had, how your assignment was worded. Okay. It should have been worded accordingly, and maybe had a lawyer review it for you. I can't answer that simply because it could go either way.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I
You
actually
might have to
sent
do
it to
some
the lawyer.
paperwork, but you might have to do some paperwork, but you likely won't have to pay anything extra.
Yeah.
Okay.
But just get proper legal advice.
I did, but that's what I'm worried. I guess the legal advice that we actually got, it wasn't just knowledgeable, so unfortunately.
Yeah, and unfortunately, not every lawyer knows how to deal with an assignment.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
And I just have a quick question. So let's say if someone make a profit and they don't claim it as their income, and does the CARE will get them back? Because I have a client, and then I told them, like, this has to, like, I just talking, they said, oh, they're going to just sell it and put it in the pocket, no one's going to find out. I go, you cannot get away, this is Canada. So
yeah, good luck with that.
yeah.
Like I said, CRA these days audits developers on a regular basis,
right?
And they look for assignments and if the HST has been charged properly. Okay.
They even like charge you more than, right? Because you're not doing the right thing.
Oh yeah, they charge 19% penalties that are compounded like daily or something. It's crazy. They're worse than credit cards. Okay. Basically extortion. But yeah, you want to make sure you protect yourself from these surprises because they can't come back. Keep in mind, CRA watches the MLS. I had a friend of mine. She's a realtor with another brokerage, but she bought pre-construction, closed it, lived in it for a little bit, short time, had financial problems, listed it for lease. Then couldn't find a tenant. A couple of months went by, financial issues got sorted out. She canceled the listing. Guess what? She gets 6 months later. She gets a call from CRA, you owe us HST. This is like, why? Because you had it on MLS for lease. So I've also canceled the listing, so get lost.
Yeah.
And they did, but they watched the MLS. Okay.
Okay, got it. So even like after closing, you can rent it out, right?
You can rent it out after closing. If you didn't pay HST on the time of closing, CRA is going to come back after you for HST.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Okay. You're better off to pay and then apply for the rebate.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Again, get an accountant or a lawyer or a tax lawyer. Okay.
Well, that's been fantastic, Ed. Thank you very much. We all appreciate it.
Thank you so much for watching. If you like our video, please hit the like button, the subscribe, and even the little bell to get notifications, just so you can stay in touch and watch more of these great videos.